Hello, I'm Justin, and this is David, and we are starting episode 2 of Mickey's Earbuds. Our topic for today is quick service restaurants at Disney World. We're going to talk about some of our favorites. We're not going to get really super in depth, but we're just going to kind of walk around, figuratively speaking, different parks and very briefly touch on the resorts and talk about our favorite quick service locations.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And I'm sure we're going to come back to this, right? We're not just going to once and that's it. Because,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, we're going to come back to this because at some point we're going to have to talk about if you're planning a trip and what kind of quick service location you're going to look for a restaurant. You're spending a day at Magic Kingdom. We'll possibly lay out your best options at each park in a different episode per park. But for right now, we're just going to kind of do an overview. But in any case, if you're looking to plan a Disney World trip sometime in the future, maybe you should take some notes. Some of this could be helpful for you. But,
Justin, this is not school.
oh, shoot. Well, okay. Maybe you won't take some notes. Maybe just put some of this in your back pocket and think
Well,
about it.
we're talking
Yeah.
about food. Hopefully, they're going to put it in their mouth.
Very nice. So anyway, let's get started. First thing, quick service locations. They're basically places you just walk up, or now in recent years you can mobile order your food and then pick it up there. And there's just a couple of exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, you're going to walk up, mobile order, and pick up your food. You're going to find a table. You're going to eat and enjoy your food. You're not going to tip. And generally speaking, it's easy on the wallet. So even though
Like,
there's a lot of table service restaurant options, most Disney World visitors will favor eating at the quick service locations because for the most part, you don't need to reserve them.
yeah, a quick service is like a fast casual restaurant, and it's also like a fast food restaurant, except it's just the technical term for one at a resort, specifically at Disney, right?
Yeah, think about it as better than McDonald's, but yeah, I don't know. Something like a high-end fast food restaurant. I don't know what that would be. Sonic, Drive-In, Firehouse Subs, Chick-fil-A, something
Yeah,
like
or
that.
like a Chipotle where you can custom your order, like that
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah.
Not every location is like that, though. You can't custom your order at every location, but at a handful you can.
Yes. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and get into this with let's talk about our favorite quick service locations at Animal Kingdom theme park. Dave, what do you like at Animal Kingdom?
Well, I thought you sent me this list, and I was thinking about it maybe a little different. My favorite, it's really hard because I'm pretty sure you and I, because we kind of have the same brain about food, are going to agree.
Possibly.
I like the Saltuli Canteen. I'm probably butchering that name. It's kind of like a Chipotle. It's a bowl restaurant. You can do your protein, your carb, your veg, and your sauce. It's very millennial friendly. I like also, believe it or not, because, and I would say if you're a picky eater, by the way, this would probably be the best one for you at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And Justin, you can agree or disagree. But Restaurantosaurus is
I
good.
was to say I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a picky eater, which I am not, Restaurantosaurus is like classic American. They got your burgers, your nugs, you got your fries, and the best thing about that place is that, well, the prices are maybe you're starting around like $10. You're
15 if
getting,
you're getting something like if you're getting a burger in the height of their season, it could be like 15.
but you're not getting a small amount of food. Like they're
Right.
hooking you up. Like when you get the order of nuggets and fries, it's not, a 5 piece and a small at another restaurant. We're talking like you're getting quite a bit of food there.
Yeah,
And
I've heard it
so,
put that generally at quick service locations at the theme parks, you're looking not at so much at fast food, but you're looking at good food fast.
that's probably a good way to put it. There's a lot of other good places there, like the Yak and Yeti is pretty solid. Yak and Yeti has a sit down side, but the quick service side is kind of like you're going to your local Asian restaurant that you get an order and bring home on the weekends. You get like your orange chicken and stuff like that, and it's pretty good. Also, pretty good portions. I haven't actually ever been to the barbecue place there, believe it or not.
Uh, Flame Tree Barbecue. I gotta say, just walking by the place sometimes and smelling the barbecue from Discovery Island's walkway is enough to draw you in. They actually have a really good recipe, I believe, for ribs. They slow roast them, like no joke, slow roast them with a nice dry rub. And they are really good, flavorful pork ribs that they've got there. But yeah, so that's definitely why it's one of my favorites to go to from time to time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what are all the ones there, and then you should tell us what yours are because I'm pretty solid.
Oh, okay. Well, you mentioned Satu Lee Canteen. That's in Pandora, so it's very Avatar themed. And the other thing with that is that they give you real bowls, real silverware. They bring it to your table almost like they would at a nicer restaurant,
I
which
was
is also
impressed when they
kind of
did that.
yeah. So that makes it kind of different there. Yeah, Flame Tree Barbecue, Restaurantosaurus. They also have Pizza Fari,
Never
which
done that one.
yeah, it's just personal size pizzas, and you can get those kinds of personal size pizzas. I think in almost every theme park, if not every theme park, there's a location where you can get personal pizzas.
Isn't it kind of like a meme, like the Disney pizza?
It
You
might
know,
be. It might be. I
and
don't
we're not
know.
talking about like Via Napoli or a couple of those places, but it's like the same one you can get at everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty well as far as Disney goes. They're pretty standard. They make it the same way no matter which park you're in, kind of a deal. And then the other thing is the Harambe Market in Africa. That's kind of one of their newer places.
You know what? I forgot about that one. That one's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I have not yet had the opportunity to give that one a try, mainly because I usually get preoccupied with the Flame Tree Barbecue or the Satu Lee.
Yeah, if I because and well, Flame Tree Barbecue and Satuli, they're pretty close to the entrance too. But Flame Tree being almost right there, and Satuli, Pandora's not that far from the entrance of the park, if I recall.
Yeah, well, and generally speaking, in my personal touring plan of Animal Kingdom, we can talk about that on a different episode. I end up finding myself in the vicinity of Flame Tree Barbecue or Satuli around lunchtime, just the way it works out.
We need to stop talking about food, but we can. This is what we're talking about. I
Well,
haven't eaten dinner yet.
why don't we move on to Hollywood Studios?
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff at I when I was legitimately I was thinking, are there a lot of really good places at Animal Kingdom Lodge? And then when I started looking at the just
Well,
looking
not
at the
well,
names again,
not Animal Kingdom Lodge, Animal Kingdom.
oh yeah, sorry, at the Animal Kingdom, I was like, there really is. I can't believe I forgot all the names. I'm not looking forward to when we get to Epcot because I don't think there's a favorite there. I think they're all like there is. Anyway, well, let's not jump the gun. You said
Hollywood Studios.
oh, okay, this one is not so hard for me.
Yeah, there are significantly, in my opinion, significantly fewer walk up, quick service, counter service restaurants there. And a lot of them are relatively standard. They're going to serve you sandwiches or salads or burgers or chicken nuggets for the most part. There are a couple of unique offerings now, but I have not yet had the chance to try them.
Uh,
So,
yeah, one of my favorites. So if I'll be specific, in this place it changes a lot. Like the menu changes a lot. So if that bothers you, then that's not really that does bother me. But
doesn't really bother me.
Dockside Diner is actually sometimes when you hit it right, they'll have like have you had the foot long Disney dogs yet? Have you ever had one?
I have had one, but not at Hollywood Studios. I had it at Casey's Corner, Magic Kingdom.
Oh well, let's not jump the gun yet to the Magic Kingdom. But yeah, they have the footlong dogs there. They do every now and then. Dockside Diner will have like a really good mac and cheese, and it's not
Yes,
just straight up. It's they do something to it. And is it true that every mac and cheese there is actually just Stouffer's repackaged?
that is not true.
That is not true.
That is not true. Disney actually has different recipes for different mac and cheeses. So sometimes at quick service locations, there's a chance you're getting the same recipe as at a different quick service location. Certainly at their table service restaurants, the chef of that restaurant came up with the recipe for that macaroni and cheese. So
Oh
no,
yeah.
it is not repackaged Stouffer's. It is scratch macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, I know that the old standard yellow with what is it? The not shells, but
Uh,
macaronis. They're
elbows.
pretty yeah, elbows. They're pretty consistent across the parks, and they're consistently good.
Well, the
Um,
other thing too is a little known fact, by the way, that at least at one time, some of those macaroni and cheese recipes, they had a sample group of people, customers come in and sample different recipes and select their best one, and that sample group was mostly kids.
Really,
So
that's cool.
yeah, so they have done their homework on their macaroni and cheese.
That would be because you can actually have some really good macaroni and cheese. That would be in a whole episode we could do itself, where we're just like comparing
Yes.
like the mac and cheese at this place to that place. Like I've had the macaroni and cheese at Chico, which we'll talk
So
about at some point and someday,
yeah, so have
and
I.
that is awesome. And
Yeah.
I've heard good things about other places as well, like the Flying Fish. Maybe we'll have to really do something. Now, these don't make any sense. Those are some of their higher end sit down restaurants, but they're really good.
Yeah, you wouldn't think macaroni and cheese could possibly get better than what you've already had. And you go to one of their signature restaurants and it's like, oh my gosh, it really is better here.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, if you want that, mom made it with Velveeta experience, you can find that, but you can also find the how many chunks of lobster did I just eat experience as well.
how many different cheeses did they put into this again? Because I think I can taste every single one.
Yeah. So I said Dockside. You know what else is a good one over there is the back lot. And then to be honest, I haven't gone to the new ones yet. Like I've been and seen Woody's lunchbox,
Yes.
and it looks like a good menu, but I've never eaten there because when Toy Story Land opened up, the lines were huge, and I wasn't gonna stay to get that when I could go somewhere else. And I
What?
have actually not been in Galaxy's Edge yet.
See, I have been in Galaxy's Edge, and they have a couple of places where you can get food, counter service food there. I
Yeah.
have not tried either one of them. One of them, Ronto Roasters, it smelled really good when I was walking by, but I didn't get a chance to sample any of it. I've seen the you talked about Woody's Lunchbox in Toy Story Land. They're what they call potato barrels, what most people call tater tots dishes do intrigue me. So I'm kind of interested in trying that out at some point.
They're
But
like
other,
tater tot nachos or something.
yeah, something like that. But I'm with you on Backlot Express. One of the things I like about Backlot Express is, for the most part, I think they do burgers and sandwiches there. Um, kind of like think of like grilled ham and cheese with flair in a way sometimes. But one of my favorite features of that restaurant is that it's kind of out of the way. It has plenty of indoor seating as well as outdoor seating, and it's off by itself. So really the only people that are going through that area of where you're sitting down to eat at that restaurant are the people who are also eating at that restaurant, because they have a lot of quick service locations now on Sunset Boulevard as you're approaching Tower of Terror. But
Yeah.
there's just so much traffic there. There's a lot of traffic going by Woody's Lunchbox and Toy Story Land. There's also plenty of traffic going by the quick service locations in Galaxy's Edge.
One of the good things about the back lot, and I think this has probably changed since Galaxy's Edge opened, was did you ever get the Star Wars themed cupcakes at the back lot?
I have not.
Well, Disney cupcakes, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're like a child's dream. They're really good. They're not dry at all. But I got I'm pretty sure it just had Darth Vader's like helmet on it, and it was like blue. And it was excellent. I might be wrong. You can correct me on that, but it
Wow.
was they do that. That's actually one of the things that a lot of these restaurants do is they'll have like this signature cupcake for that season, like for
Yeah.
summer, or like a new movie's come out, they'll do a themed cupcake based on the movie. Like I know recently with the Frozen movie, they had Frozen 2 themed cupcakes,
Yeah.
which were blue, and I think they had one for Elsa and Anna. I could be wrong, but I do know that they did that. They're usually pretty good back there. I don't know if they're still doing, like I said, since Galaxy's Edge opened up, if they're still doing.
Honestly, I haven't even been to Backlot Express in a few years myself. I just haven't had the need to stop at a quick service location in Hollywood Studios for quite a while. I almost did on our last trip, but I forget where we ended up going, but we left the park and got food elsewhere.
Not to knock anything, but if I'm gonna eat, I'm probably not gonna usually eat at Hollywood Studios. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm not going to go out of my way to eat at a quick service location
Yeah.
there in particular. But let's move on to Epcot because as you
Oh
know, there's
boy.
just so much going on at Epcot in the quick service area. They used to have Electric Umbrella that has since closed. They're making way for I think a space themed restaurant, or at least
Oh, yes, that's right.
they're about to close it. It's one of those things. So basically, when you're in Epcot in the Future World section right there at the front of the park, I think you pretty much just have Sunshine Seasons in the Land Pavilion. And then almost everything else is, except for like little kiosks and booths, almost everything else is in the World Showcase in the countries.
So yeah, how many? Let's see, this is hard. How many quick service locations are in Epcot? Do you know?
No, I don't. If I were to give a ballpark estimate at this point, I would say 9 or 10, maybe 11.
When I was looking it up, one of the websites I was looking at was saying 14.
Oh, okay.
Now, I think some of those they were counting were outdoor walk-ups.
Like little kiosks,
Yeah,
sort of.
and
Yeah.
so, but not the ones you see in the festivals, like the ones that are there all year round.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think Promenade, for instance, is like that one, or
Yeah.
the
They got like some sort of a pizza cart or whatever, I think out by Test Track.
yeah, it's not like that. It's more like the refreshment port
Oh,
or
okay.
the refreshment cool post where the Coca-Cola stuff is. A lot of things are gone. I think that electric umbrella that's torn down now, isn't it?
That's what I was just saying a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
They're making way for some other things and all the crazy overhauls they're doing at Epcot right now. There's so much is changing and it's changing really fast. But World Showcase, even though they are doing changes out there, their restaurant venues are not changing as much, which I think is a good thing because they got so much good going on there with their food out there. But yeah, you've got a walk up at in Mexico and China, Germany, Norway.
Well, should we break Epcot in two? The land, the front half of the park and the back half of the park,
You
because
could, but right now there's really only one restaurant in the front half of the park.
oh, that's right. It's just seasons, isn't it?
Yes, it's just Sunshine Seasons, which, by the way, is one of my favorites. I do enjoy going there. I have found myself on more than one occasion going into the Land Pavilion, getting on the Living with the Land ride where they show you where they grow all the food, coming off that ride and just wanting something to eat from Sunshine Seasons.
I love living with the land.
So do I. So do I. Well, anything having to do with growing food, right?
Oh well, it's just this the narration is hilarious, especially when he goes, "Welcome to living with the land," and
Yeah,
the fish, and then you see the Carolina Reaper, and then it's so cool.
it is.
Don't put your hands in that water though.
Yeah. Never
Um,
put your hands in the water.
that's a good lesson for life with a lot of things, but yeah, you know what? Now you're thinking about it, I even think they closed the Starbucks in the front of the park.
They did. Yeah, actually, that whole structure is gone now.
Yeah, I haven't been since for a little bit. I've heard and I've seen some of the stuff, but yeah, Seasons is
Uh,
good. Again, big portions, um,
yeah,
and not
yeah,
that big portions are important if you want to save money, but they're not just big for bigness sake, and that's what actually makes Seasons really good.
yeah. And let's get into World Showcase. I know we're trying to rush through so much in such a short amount of time,
We could take
but
our time, yeah.
in World Showcase, personally, I do enjoy getting something to eat at the Mexico Pavilion, at the La Cantina there.
That's pretty solid.
It is pretty solid. It's especially good when you're getting ready to wait for their nighttime spectacular and you're there about a half an hour beforehand, so you got a good spot. You can send a runner from your party over there and get like nachos or tacos or something like that over there and come back because one of the best viewing locations is right there next to the place anyway. So we like to do that from time to time.
That one's pretty good. What is it? The I can never say the name correctly in France. Um,
oh,
Bolgere
well,
Pasterie, the house. That's
it's called Leal now. I know.
Leon.
Yeah, well, on the French language, there's so many letters that
They're
we
silent.
don't. Yeah, they're silent in the English language, as it turns out. But uh, but yeah, I think it's pronounced Leal. I don't. I'm not. I would butcher the other two words, but it has something to do with bakery and pastry or something like that. But yeah, they
That's
have
good.
sandwiches there and incredibly good desserts, incredibly good pastry desserts there.
That one's really good. It's hard because there's so many good ones. I mean, if you're into like the the German place, Summerfest,
Which I
that
am.
is that the bratwurst and the Nudelgratin, that's
Yes.
really good.
Yes.
Um,
There we go back into the macaroni and cheese thing again.
I know. Again, you can get your standard American stuff like at the Cool Post or the Refreshment Port.
Or it in the American Adventure Pavilion too.
Well,
Either.
that's changed now, right? Now it's Regal Eagle
Yeah, that's right.
that
But
does barbecue.
it's
I've heard it's awesome.
yeah, I've heard good things too. Actually, I didn't really experience it before it changed either because I get so distracted by food that's not the standard most of the time. So I end up going to all the other places, getting the more international foods for myself.
Yeah, you know what? For another place I like, but I don't go to often is Yorkshire County Fish Shop or the Fish and Chips.
Yep, yep.
That's
United
I've
Kingdom.
had it. It's good, but again, it's the same thing. I can get fish and chips anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not the same as getting like a good German bratwurst.
And I haven't really sampled it except to get Moroccan mint tea. I haven't had any food at Tangerine Cafe in Morocco, but I've heard many good things about that as well.
Well, remember when we got that coffee that
Oh yeah, that was
would put
intense.
hair between your toes?
That's not exactly a selling point.
Okay, so I don't like coffee. As a pastor, that's like a thing that people are just shocked about. But because apparently is if you're in the ministry, you have to love coffee, and I just don't like it.
That's
But
okay.
you and my wife had it, and you guys were like, "This is excellent." And I tried it. I was like, "Oh."
Well, it's okay, Dave, because I'm pretty sure I drink my fair share and your fair share
Yeah,
of
that's
coffee.
fine. You could drink all of my coffee. I'm not. Now, I've tried. I really have tried. Every time my wife gets some coffee, I try it just to say, okay, maybe I'll like this one. And it's now been over 30 years of me just not liking coffee. So I
Yeah,
don't know. Maybe it's just stuck.
maybe. But we digress. Yeah, so there's different walk-ups in all the different almost all the different countries. I don't There's no walk-up restaurant, no counter service restaurant at in Italy. But I think there's one in every other country around World Showcase. I
Which
know
is
one of the
surprising when you think about it. They have the walk
yeah,
up gelato place.
yeah,
But
they
yeah,
yeah, and I got to give a shout out because I know any Disney fans who are familiar with it will really hate me if I don't, but I got to give a shout out to the school bread at Kringla Bakery Og in Norway.
oh yeah.
Got got to try that. I mean, they have sandwiches there too and such, but their school bread, yeah, that's where it's at. It's good stuff.
Every one of these places has really good baked things. That's for sure. We could do a whole nother thing on that. I mean, the caramel Kutsch in Germany,
Oh, just the
that
smell of it.
is, yeah, that it's just out of this world.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
there's also not a walk up in Canada.
oh,
Yeah.
is there not? No, you're right. They only have the restaurant, the
They only
La Cellier,
Listelia, yep.
and they have the popcorn cart. And in Japan, no, Japan has the
Yep.
Katsu
Japan.
Grill,
Yep. I
which
recommend that. That's a good place too.
I haven't done that one in a while. And then also you can go into the store and get Japanese snacks, which are pretty fun.
Yeah, there's all kinds of fun things in there. Back in the very way back of Mitsukashi.
The Chinese pavilion has a walk up, but it's kind of like getting Chinese from your local Chinese place.
Actually, it's Last time I was there, it was many years ago, so I don't know if it's changed. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's authentic, but yeah, you could get yeah, it's about as good as your local Chinese place, or sometimes years ago it was kind of like getting Chinese at a food court, which I tend to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that for the price point, I'll tend to go for better options. So let's move on to Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom, in my opinion, is another place where the walk up options there are really good. You can't really there's no bad places. Plenty to choose from, and in every section of the park there's definitely something good you can find. Any
Yeah.
anything you particularly like out of Magic Kingdom?
Well, we talked about it a little earlier. Casey's Corners, again, it's another hot dog, and I think they have the corn dog nuggets, which are really good.
I
The
don't know.
macaroni,
Every time I go there, I get their foot long hot dog topped with macaroni and cheese and bacon bits. So
yeah, that's good. Pecos Bill, I know some people love it
uh,
or hate it. I've
yes,
had good experiences.
yes, it's yeah, kind of Tex-Mex. Well, not kind of. It is Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
It's a pretty popular spot. A lot of people like to stop in there, and actually, it's kind of one of those places where you could almost walk right by it and not even know it's there, like on your way to or from Splash Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain. You know, going coming out of Liberty Square, going to Adventureland. It's yeah, it kind of blends right in with the surroundings. So sometimes you walk right by it and don't even realize it's there.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And then I'll let you because I'm pretty sure we're gonna agree on the ones you're gonna talk about.
Okay, so uh, we've mentioned how you can find your pretty standard fare before, so I'll just bring up for that is Cosmic Rays in Tomorrowland. They
Yeah,
have
standard
different
American burgers and fries and yeah.
burgers, fish sandwiches, chicken sandwiches. I think they still do half rotisserie chicken there.
Well, you got to tell them the secret on how to do Cosmic Rays, which is they have different walk up sections. And so you might have the half a chicken on the one, but the next bay doesn't have it. So you do want to walk around Cosmic Rays to find the half the chicken or the
Correct.
fish sandwich. That's
Yep.
one of those things where you walk up, you may not see, you might just see your burger and fries, and that'll be fine. But if you just walk a little bit, they do it.
Yep.
And they used to. I don't know if they still do it. Do they still do the push pump of cheese? Or is that charged now?
I don't know. The last time, I think I have encountered that kind of cheese at Casey's still. I'm not sure it's readily available at Cosmic Rays, but it has been a while since I've been to Cosmic Rays.
Yeah.
One of the nice things I like about Cosmic Rays is that if I go to eat there, it's the dining area is fully enclosed and inside. So if you're in there out in the summer Florida heat, it's a nice place to get a respite while you eat lunch. Plus, a lot of the windows at Cosmic Rays face the castle, so you can kind of have a nice lunch with a view.
One of the things you'll find too, though, is when it rains in the summertime, you won't be able to get in that location
For that
because
matter, many
it's
locations.
yeah. Though I've had better luck getting in at the Pinocchio's restaurant.
Oh, yes, I forgot about Pinocchio's.
That one is easy to get into because that's a Pinocchio's Village House. It's towards New Fantasyland. It's a little further back from Cosmic Rays, and you can get in that one when it rains. And the food there's again, it's contemporary American pizza, so on and so forth. It's not quite the same, but it's pretty much the same as Cosmic Rays. The same as now. This is not probably true, but Columbia Harbor House, another place to escape the rain from in the heat. But the food
Right.
there is very different.
The Columbia Harbor House is very seafood based, although you can get chicken there, you know, like standard fried chicken nuggets or tenders or something like that. You can get that there. They serve a clam chowder, New England style clam chowder, and a lobster roll, and both of them are no joke. They're definitely worth paying for if you go there. My One of my favorite features about Columbia Harbor House and is that it has the second floor that you can go up to the second floor. The only way to get to the second floor, I believe, is by staircase. So anybody who's got strollers are not going up there, which means it's generally very quiet. And some people don't even realize that they're allowed to go up. It's a really neat place to actually really get away from it all and enjoy a nice meal there.
But so, what's your favorite at that at Magic Kingdom?
Okay, it would be Columbia Harbor House under uh, just passing through kind of circumstances. But if I've planned ahead and made the advanced dining reservation, then it would be our guest for lunch because that's technically a quick service location, but for lunch only.
That is a phenomenal lunch restaurant. I've never done it for dinner. My brother has. He thought it was amazing. But for lunch, oh yeah, I got a roast beef au jus sandwich one time,
Oh yes,
and I
I've
got the
had that
great
too.
stuff cupcake. Oh,
Yeah, the French onion soup is also good because, well, it's a French style restaurant after all. So,
even though it was
uh,
invented in New York City.
yeah, the cupcakes there that they serve for dessert for lunch are also no joke. We talked earlier about how cupcakes at Disney World are just fantastic. One of them, kind of sometimes overlooked for lunch, is called the Master's Cupcake, which has the famed, if you've ever listened, if you know a whole lot about Beauty and the Beast, try the gray stuff. It's delicious. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes. Well, you can find the gray stuff in the Master's Cupcake and on it. So that's a great way to get in there and get the gray stuff because if you go there for dinner, I'm pretty sure they only give it to you if you're celebrating something special.
Yeah, initially they used to give the great stuff away for free, and then people kept asking for it. So they said, well, let's give them more, but also make it a charge. So, and it's totally worth it because it's good. But
Yep.
yeah, they used to do it for free at one point.
Subject for another podcast, but there I have discovered a solid online copycat recipe of the gray stuff, modified it just ever so slightly, and it turned out pretty good.
Ooh, that does sound good. Again, why are we talking about food? I haven't eaten dinner yet. Well, we should probably move on to the resorts, right?
Yeah, I don't really want to showcase anything specific in the resorts because there's just so many resorts and there's so many, every resort has at least one quick service location. The interesting thing is because and we're going to talk about this, I believe, in our next podcast, the different levels of resorts, from deluxe to moderate to value. The interesting thing is the best quick service locations are at the value resorts because really at the value resorts, it's the only place you can eat. So they offer a lot of variety at those quick service locations. And so you
They
can
have
find,
cafeteria style food at the All Stars and at the values, right?
yeah, well, it's set up in that kind of a way. It's basically a food court and it's kind of like Cosmic Rays at Magic Kingdom where not all lines are created equal. So you go
Yeah.
to the line with a food item that you want, but they kind of go around the horn with different kinds of foods because people who are staying at those resorts and eating some of them eating regularly at those resorts aren't going to want burgers and fries every time they get something to eat. And Disney knows this. So they've got different options at the quick service locations at their value resorts.
Yeah, and the resorts have tons of good stuff. And the one thing about quick service restaurants too, is again they're not. If you go to one of the more specialty resorts, say like the Animal Kingdom Lodge, you might be a little afraid because you're thinking, is this African or Indian food? But the quick service, again, it's going to be a lot more accessible to like kids.
Right.
They're at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, for instance, they had like the chocolate M&M brownie,
Yeah.
which that's pretty American, if I was ever to say so. And
Yeah.
so a lot of the resorts with the quick services, especially not on just the value end, they're gonna be pretty accessible to everybody.
Right.
And I think that's really the golden thing about the quick services is just that they are accessible. It's not
Yes.
gonna really put you out, or I think you can experiment a little bit if you're into experimenting, but you also can find something there you're comforted. And so depending on how you like to vacation, I don't know, Justin, but for me, eating is the vacation.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid third of the vacation when I go to Disney World.
Yeah, whenever I go anywhere, especially Disney, we're planning the food. And that's going to be a whole other thing where we just get really in depth on a few what we really like. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's people out there who would say eating is the vacation. Um, there are days where I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Right now, because I haven't had dinner, totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I think we're going to wrap it up here, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That pretty much wraps up our tour de quick service restaurants at Disney World.
And this didn't do it 100% justice because we moved through this quickly and we covered all the parks. We didn't even touch Disney Springs,
Right.
and we didn't even touch the water parks.
Nope.
Um, and we could literally make this into several part episode, and maybe we will. But if you have any questions, just let us know. This is something that Justin and I are still exploring ourselves, and because the menus change so frequently, it's always a new adventure, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
and also as we're just kind of getting started with this, we're really looking at a whole lot of things from the big picture with plans to get down to a more narrow focus on some of our later episodes.
maybe this will just end up being food for most of the time. All right, well, everybody, you have a good one, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.
Adios.